Yes, people, how are you doing? Welcome back to the Pole Position Pod on AN Sports. The build-up to Abu Dhabi is here. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix is this weekend. It is a massive weekend, as you all know. Hence why we're doing an extra special show. We're doing a build-up to the Grand Prix, a build-up to the race, a massive, massive race. 3 drivers competing for a championship. I got the lads, the star-studded panel as always. Obviously, barring 2 people that were here this season and will be here this weekend. We'll try and bring him on this weekend. It's going to be a massive, massive weekend. Obviously, as you know already, Max Verstappen versus Oscar Piastri versus Lando Norris. In no particular order. Hopefully that's not a spoiler. But make sure you guys hit the like button anyway and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to King's channels. I'll put the link in the description of the video and in the chat. Both of his channels will be there. And also leave a like. Let's get 15 likes on the video at best. And trying to get to 520, so just 8 subs away. If you're new around here, hit the like button and subscribe. Also subscribe to Run Via Talks Racing. I'll put the link in the chat as well. Since I can't put it in mentions at the moment, I'll put it in the chat as for now. But yeah, like I said, the build up to Abu Dhabi is gonna be huge. It's gonna be mad. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be great. We're here to chat. It's gonna be awesome. Hopefully it shall be. Augustia, Ranveer, King, lads, what are we saying about? Obviously, how are you guys first and foremost? And yeah, and Abu Dhabi is on its way.
Yeah, Ekevin, I hope that is not a spoiler, but that's a prophecy as well. In that order, Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, and Oscar Piastri. I think that's what we all want as a panel, unanimously, right? That's the consensus here. You're right, this is a massive, and massive is an understatement. This is a legendary, historic, and potentially heroic championship. The fact that we have a 3-way decider coming to Abu Dhabi, if you told anyone that during the summer break, if you told the most delusional Max Verstappen fan at the summer break that he'd be fighting for the championship till Abu Dhabi, they would have said you should be admitted into the mental health hospital and you should be put into Arkham Asylum. That's where you should probably have been. But instead, here we are. McLaren making abundance of unforced errors. Max Verstappen, as he always has done, like he did last year, like he's doing this year, when he has the fastest car, he maximizes his output. And when he doesn't, he minimizes the damage. And then with the McLarens, Lando Norris has had a late season resurgence. The Brazil-Mexico stint, one of the most dominant stints I've ever seen since I've been watching Formula One in terms of ability, mentality, and race performance. But then, of course, he was Lando Norris for those races. That he's become Leyland Kinder Norris as well for the other races, right? Making his own mistakes and capitulating under pressure. And Oscar Piastri as well, being an Arsenal fan, producing what North London teams do best, bottling. So exactly. So this is where we are at the moment. It is Max Verstappen with the momentum, Lando Norris in front. Oscar Piastri still has a finger on that title, and I cannot wait for Abu Dhabi because this will be nothing short of extraordinary.
King and Ranveer, talk to me, lads.
So ever since the last title fight I remember actively when watching Formula One was 2016. It was Lewis Hamilton versus Nico Rosberg. I didn't watch 20. The only thing I remember from the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was the first turn where Lewis Hamilton he cut the corner and the safety car incident and all that. That's the only thing I remember. So this is the second title fight I've witnessed with my own eyes when actively watching Formula One. So we're headed for a very, very. This could be historic, man. This could even top 2021 Abu Dhabi, not because of the drama or the climactic end, but 3 drivers in a title fight for the first time in Abu Dhabi since 2010 when it was Sebastian Vettel, Mark Webber, and Fernando Alonso in that fight.
King, obviously you and I were just doing the NBA show. Make sure you guys check that out if you haven't done so already. NFL show, excuse me, not NBA, NFL show. NBA show, did that on Monday. Check that one out as well. King, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, no, exciting weekend. McLaren let themselves down. They probably I don't think it should have gone to the final day, but it has. Max has been a credit these last couple of races. Obviously, last week he had a really good week, and going into it, he has all the momentum. I think it's most likely. Actually, no, I won't say that. But I'll say this: it's going to be a good weekend. We're going to crown a new world champion, maybe a returning one or someone brand new. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it'll be fun and exciting.
100%. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the last proper Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was 2021. That was probably the biggest build-up to the race, to the Grand Prix itself. That year itself was the biggest build-up. Both drivers tied on points going into the final day. Now we've got 3 drivers within touching distance. I'd say the gap from each other at max, no pun intended, at max is 15 points. Is it 15 points, if I'm not mistaken?
Piastri's gap to Norris is 16 points, and Verstappen's gap to Norris is 12 points.
12 points. Okay,
So it's 408 for Norris, 396 for Verstappen, and 392 for Piastri.
Exactly, close enough. But if there's one driver that has one hand in the championship at the moment, it's Lando Norris. Like, he's leading the table. He's leading the standings, the drivers' championship, by 12 points on Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen, who happened to have won 4 championships in a row prior to this. He has won, ever since he's won his first, he's won 3 straight after that. Off the bat of his first, won 3 straight. Can he be the first driver in a very long time to win 5 in a row?
Michael Schumacher from 2000 2004. He's the only driver to win 5 in a row.
Can he be the first one to do it since Michael Schumacher? There's a good chance. 12-point gap. But it's a lot to ask for. But it's possible. It's improbable, but not impossible. Because you just don't know where Lando Norris finishes. It depends on where Lando Norris finishes. All Max Verstappen needs is a Lando Norris P4 finish, barring no penalties, for Max Verstappen on the last day. And Oscar Piastri, to win the championship, he's going to need to win the race. That's a lot to ask for from Oscar Piastri, considering how his car's been over the last few months or the last few Grand Prix. Because we're talking about a guy who's had a massive dip in form. We're talking about a guy who's had was on the up, was on the way to that championship, was clear of the rest. He was clear. He was the best of the rest, clearly. But then the capitulation happened. Then McLaren started getting to their head. Then Max Verstappen. I will use this term in football. I use this term in football terms. The blue shark started swimming. You could see the tail. You could see the
Jaws.
You can see the fins. All you need to do now is look ahead and look at the championship trophy. How far are you away? You're 1 race away. You're 1 race.
Norris.
Both McLaren drivers are 1 race away from winning a championship. They are. They're one race away from winning a championship. There's no more additional races. This is the pinnacle, guys.
It's not a championship, it's the championship you want to win, the Formula 1 World Drivers' Championship.
Exactly. This is the main championship that we're
This is what they've been working hard for all their lives. Like Oscar Piastri winning Formula 3 and the Formula 2 Championship in consecutive years. Lando Norris winning the CIK FIA Karting World Championship in 2014 at age of 14, youngest ever to do so, still the youngest to ever do so, winning the Toyota Racing Series in New Zealand, winning the Formula 3 European Championship. This is what they've been working for all their lives. They've seen that big, like, it looks like paradise from the outside, the Formula 1 world, the Formula 1 circus. This is what they've been racing for. This is what they've been racing for. They've been gunning to beat their teammates. They've tried to get the best opportunities from their parents, funding, coaches, nutritionists, therapists, physiotherapists, psychologists. They've been gunning to get the best support for their journey along the way, from primary school to secondary school to being an adult to being in this world. And now they're intoxicated by this, and they're now one race away because Lando Norris leads the standings on 408 points. Maximilian Verstappen, let's not talk for him about for a second. And in third place, it's Oscar Piastri on 392 points, just 16 points behind his teammate Leyland Norris.
Yeah, and also just to add real quick before Augustia and King does give the points. No matter what you think of Lando Norris, no matter what you think of Oscar Piastri, no matter what you think of Max Verstappen, the championship's in their sights. They've got a chance to win another championship. One's got a chance to win another championship, and two of them have got a chance to win their very first championship. Will it be a first? Will it be a fifth? We don't know. How would you say it? Is it a 66% chance? 66% chance that you'll see it first?
For Norris.
Yeah. No, because both McLaren drivers are seeing their very first championship. Two of them.
So 66% for McLaren drivers combined for 33 each.
Yeah.
Or...
Pretty much. Pretty much. So pretty much around that, yeah. Pretty much around that.
Well, in Abu Dhabi in 2010, remember, Sebastian Vettel before the race had a 15-point deficit to Fernando Alonso in first place. in first place in the standings. He won that race. Alonso finished 6th or 7th, and Sebastian Vettel won the championship. So 15. Shut up, because so a 15-point deficit has been overturned in 2010 in Abu Dhabi in this circuit. Like, it's just 1 point difference between this situation for Oscar Piastri and the championship leader Lando Norris. Like, stranger, like, improbable scenarios on paper have happened before in Formula One. Anything can happen in Formula One, really.
For sure. Lewis Hamilton led the championship by how many seconds? And the last lap happened.
Yeah, but that was extraordinary circumstances, and those were circumstances that were beyond egregious. Should have never happened, and everyone knows with that Abu Dhabi race, whether Max is a deserving champion or not, how the race unfolded and unraveled was unacceptable. But to your point, Ekevin, yes, there is a 66% chance that we get a first-time champion, right? Because two of the three drivers haven't won a world championship yet. Yeah. But then again, I hate to be the math guy, but there's a difference between probability and possibility. And the likelihood is Lando Norris probably has the bulk of the odds compared to Oscar Piastri, who has a very small percentage of winning, and then Max Verstappen in second. So to answer your question, Ekevin, you're right. If you're Lando Norris, what you have to do is emulate what you did during Brazil and Mexico. Look forward, accept accountability for your own flaws during the Qatar Grand Prix. Yes, the team wasn't good enough, but take command of the situation. Dictate the proceedings yourself. Get into Abu Dhabi. Focus just forward. Just win the race. You don't even have to think about the championship. Just win the race. If you perform relatively close to your apex with that mentality, he will be in the top 3 with that car. No doubt about it. But the problem is, this is the second biggest race this decade. This is the second biggest race after Abu Dhabi 2021. Ranveer, I know you said this has the potential to be bigger. I think that's what you said, right? While you were giving your 6-7 stuff.
No, I said you could take it as being bigger because of the climactic end 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, but this is a three-way title fight this decade, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you could perceive it either or way.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, look, I don't believe it. I don't believe.
Unless you're a Ferrari fan, last year meant something. For a little bit.
Yeah, but that's like a pond versus an ocean. The Constructors' Championship is a pond versus an ocean. But no, I think Abu Dhabi 2021 was unparalleled. Probably the biggest race in the history of Formula One, at least in the 21st century. It is, in my opinion, two of the most talented drivers ever, and two of the greats of all time as well. So I think that was unparalleled because they were both tied on points. This, on the other hand, Lando has an advantage. He has a big advantage. So we will see whether he can consolidate it. Now, it really just depends on what Lando Norris does in qualifying. That's it. It really depends on what he does in qualifying as well, and it will also depend on what happens. Yes, Daniel, I completely agree with you. I hope you're correct.
Pick up, Daniel.
But
yeah,
it also does depend on not just Lando, Max, and Oscar. I'll throw it out there. How good is George? How good is Kimi? how good is Charles Leclerc? Because I think these three drivers have the potential to decide the entire World Championship.
How about Hamilton? Hamilton's science.
I mean, of course, I won't discount Hamilton or Sainz, but just on the basis of recency and logic, recency and reason, Carlos Sainz probably won't have a car good enough to compete with these guys in the race. And Abu Dhabi, I'm sure, can overtake a bit more than the Qatar GP. And also Hamilton with his form. I mean, Hamilton's just been a facade. So it really is George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, and Charles Leclerc that can decide this. Because for those watching, if Lando Norris finishes in the podium places, regardless of what Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen do, he will be world champion. If he finishes outside the podium, he won't be champion. And there is a scenario where even if he is P4, McLaren will do the team order switch and Lando will win by default. So really P5 is what a Max Verstappen fan should hope that Lando finishes. Sorry, King, to you.
What do I say? Does it compare to 2021? No, probably not. It doesn't. Is it a three-way race? Not really. I think Oscar's out of it. I think Oscar needs a miracle for him to actually win the championship because he needs two drivers to mess up. Not only does he need Norris not to finish below 6, he needs Max not to be anywhere as well. So the probability of both of those drivers being out of the points or 6 or lower or below him in that sense is very unlikely. So it's down to really Max and Lando. Now, is Lando going to finish 4th or lower? As Gustia said, it's down to the drive. It's down to other drivers or other teams, what their speed and what the capabilities of their cars are. The Mercedes will definitely be up there, so there'll be an issue. And obviously, there is a scenario of whether if Oscar was 3rd and Lando was 4th. There's also the scenario if Oscar's 2nd and Lando is 4th, would Oscar let 2 cars go past him so that Lando wins the Drivers' Championship? That's also another scenario. So you for Max, you need one of the McLaren cars not to be a part of that solution, and Lando to finish 4th or lower. Do I think Max can do it? Yes, but I think it's most likely that Lando wins his championship and becomes the worst Formula 1 Drivers' Championship of all time. Max wins his and cements his legendary status as a 3-time world champion because the first two are
5 times.
The first one was a cheating. The second one, they cheated again
Hey,
financially.
Can we get the popcorn? We need to see these two beef about this. No, I'm just kidding.
But the first one was cheating. The second one was financial doping. So if you're going to complain about Man City, complain about Max and Red Bull.
So Chelsea's never done financial doping.
Augustia, you're the one who told me this one as well. Yeah.
But outside of that, yeah, we'll sort of cement Max's status on paper as a 5-time world champion, in reality a 3-time world champion, and for Lando, this is probably going to be his only championship. For Oscar, it's their only championship, and I think the one that's going to be the most angry is Oscar because he let himself down in the second half of the season. I think Lando's going to be okay either way. Either he loses to his, red line body Max, or he wins. He's soft anyway, either way, so he's going to celebrate for Max or, cry in his room.
And so let's have a choke.
But the reality is, do I think Lando will win it? Me personally, I just see all the scenarios of. Do I think? I was watching a video of a fan saying, "Will Oscar do team orders?" I think he shouldn't. I think that even makes it worse if he does. If there's a possibility that he's 3rd, Lando's 4th, and Max is 1st, and he does that, it'll be a disgrace. It won't be as bad as the 2021, but it'll be the 2nd worst last day championship kind of thing to happen. It might as well be cheating, and quite frankly, there'll be an asterisk on that world title, and I won't. And if that does happen, and Lando does win it that way, I won't classify him as a world champion like I did with Max on his first championship specifically. The second one, by the by. But that first one for Max and this first one for Lando, if that does happen, will not classify for me as world champion. They may say it on the paper, but for me, that's not what world champions do. You win it on your own merit. You win it not by cheating. You don't win it by team orders. You win it by your being the best driver on the day. So Lando has to win the race. He has to dominate. He has to dominate the weekend, and he has to win it on his own merit. Because if he doesn't do that, and he has to use team orders or other factors for him to win the drivers' championship, I'm not going to respect him in any sense of the word, and he will still be a bum to me. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's how I feel going into it. McLaren let Oscar down. You can see that he's not the one they want to win, so he's not got no chance anyway. Right? Even if he was first, he's not. No, he was never. The second half of the season shows you that they don't care about Oscar. That they only want Lando to win. Oscar's the stepchild. He's the shiny toy that they got off Alpine that can be discarded for 2 bags of chips and a flake. Lando is their poster boy. You know, the son that isn't a son of whoever that American guy is. I can't remember his name. I don't care. They want him to win. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a great weekend of racing. And I hope that Max wins it in the end, because at least then he'll be a credible champion, because the other two are bums. Just like Charles Leclerc and George Russell. And long live the bums. And Super Max, not better than Lewis, not better than Michael Schumacher, not better than Senna, not better than Vettel, not better than Alonso.
Schumacher's the GOAT. Why are you putting him in the same sentence? He's the GOAT.
Yeah, not better than any of those guys. Max Verstappen can win his 3rd championship in my eyes, or 4th, depending on how you see fit. But yeah, good for him. Win another championship.
Okay.
Stop a bum from winning one. And man, anybody but Norris, anybody but McLaren. You know what it is.
You have to go, right? You have to go now.
Yeah, I'll go in a second. Okay, my final thoughts. Lando's probably going to win the championship. I have Lando as the most likely option to win the championship.
Early prediction, by the way. Early predictions.
Yeah. I think Lando.
We'll do your predictions in the weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I don't know how quick the cars are going to be in the race, and the Red Bull car wasn't that quick last race. So based on last race, I'm going to say Lando, Max, George. That's what I'm going to go as the top 3, and Lando to win the world championship. And he better do it on his own merit. But if I ever seen any tomfoolery about driver's orders, that's not a championship winner, man. That's a bum. Anyway, peace and love. Big up to everybody inside. Big up to Mob Boss. Big up to all the panel. And I'll be back. To continue to hate on Norris until the end of the season. And even if he wins his championship, I'm still going to hate on Norris because he's a bum. Anyway, that's my final thoughts. Peace
Everyone,
and love.
go subscribe to Lando.
Subscribe to African King Academy and his 2nd channel.
Go subscribe to Lando Norris's biggest hater and Oscar Piastri's biggest hater as well. McLaren's biggest hater, because obviously me and King are both Ferrari fans. Hence why we can't support McLaren on the weekend. As you already know, I want Verstappen to win. It's not that. What you call? It's. What do you say? It's not that. I guess.
No, I can technically, if Lando wins, it's a win-win for us. If Max wins, it's a win-win for us, right? Because you and I were the only ones saying Lando can still win this championship in the summer. Literally everyone else ruled him out, counted him out, laughed at us. So although both of us want Max to win, if Lando win, we deserve our victory lap. I'm just saying, the clips are there. Like we were mocked. We were mocked for saying Lando Norris has a chance.
And no worries, Charles Leclerc will get one as well.
I love King's fishing, but rent free, man. No need to mention Charles Leclerc in this conversation, bro.
Rent free.
No, I know, but I'm serious.
I mean, to be fair to you, Monaco's tax free, so that means
smooth. I like it, but yeah, I agree with you, and it will be interesting. Just on the driver's order thing, real quick. Can I jump in on that?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, even if Lando Norris wins by a driver's order call, while I think that is disappointing and in many ways quite disgusting. Unfortunately, I don't want to be a hypocrite, but Lewis Hamilton used driver's orders a lot. Remember, Lewis Hamilton did that with Bottas that game? So many times, Bottas and Hamilton made a switch. When Bottas was in front, they'd swap positions so Hamilton would win the race. Even Max Verstappen did the same thing with Checo Perez. Remember, there were times when Checo Perez was in front, then Max had to swap the race. So I understand what King says with the, if Lando Norris wins by that, I won't classify him as a champion. But unfortunately, by that logic, Schumacher shouldn't be a champion because he did it with Rubens Barrichello. Lewis Hamilton did it with Valtteri Bottas, and also Max Verstappen did it with Checo Perez. So this is just what World Championship drivers do, unfortunately. It is very harsh. It is awful, and I truly hope it doesn't happen. I truly hope Oscar Piastri has the autonomy and authority himself to be like, no, it is a whatever lap race. I'm going to be in it till the very end, because what if Lando crashes out? What if Max crashes out? There is still a mathematical chance I could win this race. That's the justification that Oscar Piastri should use, but because of the team orders thing, even if Lando Norris wins by that metric, I don't think it falsifies him as a world champion, just for the reasons I stated, which every world championship driver this century, from Max to Lewis to Schumacher, have used team orders in the past. So I don't think it's a problem.
In terms of obviously, like, you know, what you said about team orders, in my opinion, I think the more lenient driver is gonna have to be Oscar Piastri.
Yeah.
And why I say that is because Norris is in front. Norris is ahead by the point, right? So when we're talking about, you know, the overall like race, like who's the fastest driver, right? It's not about the fastest driver. It's about the advantage. It's about who has the advantage going into the final few laps. If both drivers are next to each other, but they both don't have a chance to win the race anymore, that means Piastri's out of it, right? That would have meant Piastri's out of the race. So McLaren would then have to call in and force team orders on Oscar Piastri, saying, let Lando through, let him win this championship. It depends where they are, because Oscar Piastri needs to win the race. He cannot finish nothing less than first. The only option for him is to either win the race or... Sorry, because you know the screen froze once you made that face, and actually caught. So, as I was saying, I think McLaren forced team orders on Oscar Piastri more so than Lando Norris. The only way Lando Norris is told to give team orders is if maybe Piastri is the faster car, but they both wanted to. They'll say, let Piastri through. You're going to win the championship already. But you have the advantage on the points. You've got the advantage on the points already. It's already a 10-point gap. Like I said, Piastri needs to win the race. He can't afford anything else. The only option for Piastri is if he either wins the race. At the moment you said that he's 16 points behind, right? So if you're looking at it from this standpoint, the only possible scenario is Piastri hopes both Max Verstappen and Lando Norris crashes out. Then he can finish second, no problem. That's 18 points. That's 2 points. You win the championship. 2 points ahead, you win the championship. Piastri needs to win the race. There's no other option for him. I agree with King in the sense that I think Piastri's out of it. Why? It's because it's if you look at the points, it would be crazy to think drivers might just crash out. The drivers might crash out. Okay, this is a scenario that whether it could happen. Sure, I hear that 110%. I think there's a chance that the drivers can crash out. But what are the odds that the drivers lose grip of the race? What are the odds that Verstappen and Norris loses grip of the race? If Verstappen wins the race, he needs Norris to finish 4th or below. Piastri needs to win. Verstappen needs to win. So Norris, it's in Norris's hands. Norris does not need to win the race. What Norris needs is he needs Piastri and Verstappen to... Sorry, he just needs to finish 3rd and he's champion. He doesn't care who finishes ahead of him, whatnot. All he needs is third place minimum, and he's a champion. So, like I say, it's in Norris's hands. If he crashes out, one of Verstappen and Piastri, then it's in Verstappen's hands because Verstappen's ahead of Piastri on points, right? Verstappen's ahead of Piastri by what, 3 points, 4 points? So, 4 points. There you go. So it's in Verstappen's hands. Verstappen needs to win the race or finish above Oscar Piastri to win the championship. Actually, no, sorry, I lie. He's 12 points behind. He needs to get third, second at best, second minimum, second or third minimum, around that. All right. So, like I said, who's gonna follow team orders? That'll have to be Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri, if he's already in front of Lando Norris and he cannot win the championship no more. If he's already, let's say, for example, if he's third, if Piastri's third, and Norris is fourth, with a few laps to go, and they're within 0.67 seconds of each other, McLaren will make the call and say, Oscar, do it for the team, let Lando through, let him win his championship. It's not for the team, but it's a McLaren championship at the end of the day. McLaren driver winning the championship. So take one for the team because you can't win anymore. It's impossible now. So let Lando Norris through and let him win his championship. Verstappen is nowhere to be seen. The only chance of McLaren championship now is if you let Norris through. So, like I said, if only that's the scenario. That's only if the scenario is like that. If the scenario is Max first, Lando second, Oscar third, no need for team orders. Nothing. You don't need anything. You don't need team orders. You just need to finish second, and you win the championship. So
Yeah,
that's just my analysis on that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys disagree, but like I said, Lando. It'll be more so Oscar has to follow team rules because Lando is in sight of the championship already. There's no need for Lando to listen to team orders when you've already got it in your sight. You're 12 points ahead already. You're pretty much ahead by, at best Verstappen needs to finish first and Lando needs to finish fourth. So the scenarios are very, very slim in terms of what the outcomes that you might need for a championship. The outcomes you might need for a driver to win the championship. But that's just my analysis on it. If you guys agree or disagree, you guys want to add to that as well, please?
Yeah, actually, I mostly, if not completely, agree with you. You're right. If any driver is to conduct team orders, it will be Oscar Piastri, and also because Andrea Stella himself came out a few days ago and said that they will consider using team orders depending on how the race goes. So McLaren's strategy heading into the race is, of course, they have their papaya rules, their amazing papaya rules that everyone loves and has been so productive and successful. Both drivers will be allowed to fight for the world championship, but then depending on how the race unfolds, then the conversation of team orders will be discussed. So that's McLaren's modus operandi heading into this race. And you're right. I just don't see the scenario where Lando Norris switches for team orders, unless obviously it's like a 1-2 situation and for some reason they have to switch to give Oscar the win, but Lando stays champion. I don't know. But I will also say that there is a chance that Oscar wins till the very end. I don't think he should do team orders at all because you're talking about pressure. This is the highest of pressure. And we've seen that Lando and Oscar, while they can be very calm and effective at times, they can also be choke jobs at other times. So if Lando Norris heading into the final few laps, the pressure will increase. It will be on his shoulders. You have a lockup. You have a slip up. You have a moment of, understeer, oversteer, whatever it is. Suddenly, you crash out the race for a second. It's Formula One, right? It's high octane action nonstop. This can happen till the very end. So I think Oscar Piastri has to not abide by team orders, and also for Max Verstappen as well. If Lando and Max Ekman are starting together, they can crash into each other, and then Oscar Piastri can become the champion literally by that as well here. So I don't believe Oscar Piastri's out of it at all, actually. I think it's very unlikely that he wins. I don't believe he wins, and I will say my prediction, obviously, this weekend. But
what's your early prediction?
I can tell you my early prediction. It's, as I said last show, I think Max Verstappen will win the race. Oscar Piastri will finish second. George Russell will finish third. Lando will finish fourth. But in the final laps, they will do team orders. So Lando finishes third and wins the championship, Oscar off the podium. That's what I think will happen. You can clip that. But when it happens, I hope it
Stream
doesn't.
your job.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, look, it will be interesting. And for Max, real quick, pick up Maximilian Verstappen. If you guys saw what Martin Brundle said after the race and how he spoke about Max Verstappen, every time he's talked to Max Verstappen about this championship, Max Verstappen has progressively gotten calmer. He really is in a relaxed state. He's not worried about what happened before. All the losses and gains that he wasn't able to get, he doesn't really care. He puts that in the past, and he's really only looking forward and focusing on maximizing his capacity, which if everyone's at their peak, Max obviously wins. So I will say this, Max Verstappen's mentality to me is without a doubt one of the greatest in the history of sports. I think it is only really rivaled by Novak Djokovic and Michael Jordan. Everybody else, I think, does not have their mentality of whatever it takes to win, plus the way they also act and react to losing. Because there's been a study done in the past, and Ranveer, obviously, I don't want to go on a tangent. I'll let you speak right after this. There's been a study done in the past about tennis. It's related to this. The difference between the top players, the top 5 players versus the rest of the ATP tour, it's not the ability. Because everyone knows how to play tennis, right? Everyone knows how to hit a forehand, a backhand, a serve, blah, 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 blah. And at the top, it's very close to levels. The difference is how a player reacts after losing a point. How you react after losing a point. And if you notice, people like Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri before, when they've lost points and when they've lost races, they have sulked. They have been in shame, they have suffered, they have struggled, they have shown their vulnerability. It's nice to show your vulnerability at times, to show you're human, but not really when you're competing for a championship. That's what you do privately. You can tell people after the championship, but not yet. And then whereas Max Verstappen, when a race does not go his way, he just moves on. And he doesn't lament over it. He learns from it. He learns from the loss. And then he takes it and becomes the most indomitable and indestructible and indefeatable driver there is. So kudos to Max Verstappen. Even if he doesn't win the championship, I think the last years to me have cemented him as by far the best driver I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I likely will ever see, because he is just the complete package. Kudos to him and Daddy Max, of course.
Just one more point before Ranveer goes, yeah? Just one more point I need to make before Ranveer gets this point across. You mentioned that Oscar Piastri can still win this, right? But if he wins the race, but Lando comes second, that's irrelevant. Like, winning the race does not guarantee you the championship. You need to win. You need to hope that the other drivers around you flunk, or they don't get maximum points that gets them the championship. Pretty much. Whilst you are right, he does need to win the race, and I agree with you. Oscar Piastri needs to win the race, nothing less. He has to win the race. He needs to hope the drivers around him fail first, because the points are too much. The points are too tight for a top 3 finish between Lando, Oscar, and Max Verstappen. Too much. What do you call? How do you say it? Too much of a gap.
But I could that would. And I'll let Ranveer speak. Will be very quickly here, and that would be the architect of his downfall. I think if he does that again, I think as a driver, you have to focus on what you can control, and that's exactly what Max has made a point of in this entirety of the championship. He said, "If I don't win, it's fine. This championship was never in my control, anyways." And just like Abu Dhabi, it's not in his control technically. The same, it's not really in Oscar Piastri's control. They can exert pressure. They can play mind games. They can make it very difficult for Lando Norris. But from a racing standpoint and a tactical standpoint, all they need to do is focus on themselves, maximize their own points, get that 25 points. Because if you get multiple things in your head, that is going to be a catalyst for a catastrophe.
I know, I agree with you with that. But then again, circumstances and consequences are very important. Circumstances and consequences are very important. There might be 2 different things.
Big up Joseph Risbro at the Brighton game. Big up.
Oh, big up, Josh.
Didn't expect that, did you? Nah, you just said it to me.
No, but as I was gonna say, circumstances and consequences are two very different things. Consequences are.
Hey, you have Snapchat?
Nah, this is Palantir's messaging service.
Right. Okay, good. That's why you don't have me on there. Anyways.
No, that's cool, but anyways, circumstances and consequences are very different.
Yes.
Circumstances are what happens. Consequences of what might happen to you. The consequences of what might happen to you. The circumstances of what can happen to you. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
I-
but
understand what
I
I'm saying?
get it. Circumstances versus consequences, right? Circumstances is the circumstances that you're in. Consequences is the implications of what you do.
Circumstances are
Yes.
what if Oscar wins a race, but Lando and Max Verstappen don't do their jobs? That's a circumstance. The consequences are it's the points. This is decided by points.
Yes. Can I just add on to that real quick? I agree
So-
with you. I think
yeah.
it absolutely is important to focus on your circumstances. But again, if you're Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, if you have a deficit to Lando Norris, the last thing you want is to convolute your own head. You can only focus on what you control. The rest of it, play mind games, pile the pressure on Lando Norris. But as a driver, all you need to do is focus on how you act and react. That's it. Everything else, put that in the hands of the race. Otherwise, you're not going to win the race, and that's the reason that Max Verstappen has won. That's Max Verstappen's words of wisdom, right? Basically, stoicism. That's what Max Verstappen is embodying, stoicism. Renvir, I'm sure you would add on to that as well.
Yeah, Renvir, go ahead.
So I was looking on Google AI yesterday. Yeah, I said RB21 versus MCL39. Yeah, and what came back was Google AI said this. If I can find it.
Hey, Google AI at the moment is the number one AI on the entire planet.
Now you know the Google search engine AI, not Gemini.
Oh,
so it said so it said MCL39 strengths excels in the slow speeds, twisty final sector of the track, where its cornering stability is a major asset. Weakness has a slight disadvantage in straight line speed compared to RB21. Well, we've seen that in Monza and Miami. Driver team notes may need to sacrifice some straight line speed and set up to optimize performance of the final sector. Then RB21, it said strengths benefits from its aerodynamic efficiency and straight line speed, particularly in the track's fast second sector. Weaknesses has been shown to struggle with understeer and rapid change of direction, which could be a factor in tight corners. However, this is where it gets interesting. Google AI. For the driver team notes section for the RB21, it said Max Verstappen's skill will be crucial in overcoming any car-related disadvantages, and the team will need to rely on its strategic advantage to overcome McLaren. Google AI knows.
Yeah, Google AI is balling, man. The way it synthesizes info, and you're right, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you in terms of the machinery. But Ranveer, do you believe that Red Bull will have a car capable of competing with McLaren in terms of pure pace? What do you believe? Because I know that's what AI is saying. But
so the straight, it's got two main straights. They've got the DRS straight where Verstappen overtook Hamilton 2021 Abu Dhabi. That's the easiest way I can convey to you to turn 5. And then they've got the main straight, the start finish straight. And Red Bull, their car excels in that, the straight line speed. So does Williams's. So I think this weekend RB21 will compete with the MCL39. I think it will be up there. Up there being the fastest car alongside MCL39. I think it actually will be faster, actually. I think they will have the fastest car this week, and actually Red Bull.
I'm hearing there will
RB21.
And I completely agree with you. I echo everything you say. I'm hearing there might be a floor upgrade as well.
Yeah, they're upgrading until Abu Dhabi, yep.
Exactly. So obviously Red Bull will have the advantage. I think on pure pace, as we've talked about privately, the Max mentality is the reason he's manifested himself into this position. And that mentality of basically saying, when I lose, I'm not going to focus on it. I'm going to put that in the past and just focus on what I can control is the reason he'll win this championship if he does. And I think on pure pace, that's why if Red Bull have the car, I have Max Verstappen winning the race this weekend. And that I have zero doubt, absolutely zero doubt in my mind whatsoever.
Zero.
Yeah, zero doubt. Not an ounce, not an iota of doubt whatsoever. I think this is going to happen more likely than the tomorrow's date in Bangkok being Friday. That's how confident I am in Max Verstappen winning the race. It's Thursday here, so
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah, exactly. I'm more confident that Max wins the race.
147.
I'm more confident.
Talk within your own time zones. Don't worry about what everyone else in the chat or anyone else say.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. But my point is, if Red Bull have the car, I'm more confident that Max Verstappen wins this race than it being Friday tomorrow. I'm more confident than, when it's nighttime, the moon coming out. That's how confident I am that Max would win this race if given the car. But I think Oscar would also finish above Lando, because if you look at the confidence that Oscar Piastri's demonstrated in Qatar, and I know it was circuit specific as well, but it's not just that. He's calmer. The pressure is really not on him. He knows, as heck of you made the point, 16-point deficit, right? He knows really.
And finish in the top
So
three together.
he can drive freely, focus on himself. Whereas Lando Norris, and I'm telling you, those final laps, even if Lando Norris is in a position to win the
Playing in his
championship,
head.
yeah, 100%. Like I said, Renvir, just a lock up, oversteer, understeer. Something happened. The more these incidents happen over time, and we've seen it even when Lando was dominant. Do you guys remember Singapore? Was it last year when Lando won by over 25 seconds?
Yeah, when he hit the wall.
Yeah, it was Singapore last year.
There was so many instances, even when he is in control, he still makes several unforced errors. And like I said, when he makes the unforced error, the problem with Lando versus the problem with Djokovic and Max is he thinks about it and he talks about it more than he talks about anything else. And that plays into your head. And you create, and psychologically, if your self-perception is, I'm error prone, the odds of you making an error prone situation during the most unparalleled pressure of your entire life is going to be sky high. So I really think this championship will genuinely be decided down to the wire with that pressure factor.
And we know with Abu Dhabi, the race can literally go down to last lap. Literally last lap. Someone could be leading, 1 lap to go. Someone that overtakes them wins the championship.
Yeah.
Like I said, circumstances versus consequences. The consequences are the points that you have to face. The circumstances are you race until the end and see what the fuck happens around you. Pretty much.
Yeah.
You can't. Like I guess you mentioned, you cannot worry about what's gonna happen around you. You need to drive without pressure and know and find out what happens.
Tunnel vision.
You've only got the track ahead of you. You've only got what's in front of you to look at. You don't have what's behind you. Yes, you might have Max Verstappen in your rear wing at some point. You might have Lando Norris in your rear wing. That's something you'll need to worry on later on in the race. But once you start the race, it's that first hurdle you need to get over, and then it's a track ahead of you. Qualifying is going to be so key to who decides to win the championship. Who decides that the championship this weekend? Qualifying will be so key to decide who wins the championship, because it's all about pure pace. It's all about grip, and if you have that ahead of you, you can take full control. But like I said, neither of these drivers can afford a Q2 finish. They need to finish in Q3, no matter what, because other drivers already know that they're not fighting for anything tomorrow. So so maybe tomorrow. Oh, sorry tomorrow. I'm talking about the next day when I'm talking about for after qualifying. The drivers say, "All right, I don't have to fight for tomorrow. I'm just gonna worry about these 3 drivers. I'll let them pass me." These drivers can get leeway of other cars letting them through because they've got nothing left to compete for. On the last race of the season in Abu Dhabi back in 2021, we all saw every driver let the 2 championship drivers through because they
had to legally.
They had to. They had nothing left to play for. Nothing left.
No, but that was ordered by the race director. It wasn't because I had nothing to play for. It was ordered by the race director.
But that's exactly what I'm trying to say. It's the consequences that you'll need to face, that other drivers will have to face for Sunday. It's not. I don't give a shit about George Russell. I don't give a shit about Kimi Antonelli. They're not relevant for Sunday. Cool, they're racing on Sunday, but it's not but they're not relevant. It's Max Verstappen versus Lando Norris versus Oscar Piastri against nobody else. It's them 3.
No. Can I interject? It's not Max Verstappen versus Oscar Piastri versus Lando Norris. It's Max Verstappen versus Max Verstappen. It's Oscar Piastri versus Oscar Piastri. It's Lando Norris versus Lando Norris. It's them versus themselves.
Can they separate the
Hey, nice phrase. I like the phrase, Ekevin. But yes, I agree with you. And
I wonder where I got it from.
Me too. I wonder where you got that phrase. Seems like a very smart person. But I do agree with you though. I do agree with you, though. I think also I would love to know the question I have is what's Mercedes' pace, what's Ferrari's pace, and
It's
what's
the traffic as well. Don't forget.
it's not just the traffic. It's your point that I'm actually tagging on to, Akivin, about qualifying here, because Lando Norris probably will make a mistake in qualifying, right? I think we all expect him not to be on pole because of the pressure. If Ferrari have a car that is somewhat competitive, I think Leclerc can definitely put it above Lando Norris. I know King will say, "Ooh, he's fourth best speaking French driver in the grid." Yada yada yada. Baguette. Whatever King says.
We'll need to do a job for Ferrari, and
Yes.
I'm depending on him, by the way, because
Yeah.
we all know McLaren. If any of you guys are Ferrari fans, none of you guys are rooting for McLaren to win this weekend. None of you should be rooting for McLaren to win this weekend. You shouldn't be rooting for a McLaren driver to win the championship. That's like United rooting for Liverpool to win the league. Literally.
Yeah, and also obviously who we all want to see the best win, right? Max Verstappen has definitely been the most deserving driver this season, without a doubt. It's unquestionable. So I agree with you, but I do believe that Leclerc, Russell, and even Kimi Antonelli, who's been in a rich vein of form very recently, I do believe they can absolutely finish above Lando Norris in qualifying. I see no reason why they cannot. And I think that, and obviously Lewis Hamilton, if he can regain this rhythm. And Renvir, you're right. I'll say you're right here. Williams, you're right. Abu Dhabi's about straight line speed. Williams have a super fucking fast car on a straight line. Carlos Sainz and even Alex Albon can absolutely put it above Lando Norris.
Yeah.
And heck, if the RB is even good, Yuki Tsunoda with nothing to play for, don't even roll him out. Because what did he do in Qatar?
He might help his teammate. There's a good chance.
Yeah, I mean, he has nothing to play for, right? He has like nothing to play for, so he even might get in the mix. So Lando Norris,
there's another guy we forgot about, Fernando Alonso in AMR 25.
My goodness, yeah, but I don't think
hit his friends in front. It's a problem.
But Renvir, I want to ask you this year. Yes, we believe Fernando would obviously want Max to win over anybody else, right? But Lando and Fernando are close as well. Don't forget that.
Yeah, but Alonso qualified 8th in Qatar. No one expected him to do that. So, you know, he can eke. He's 44, yeah, but he can eke what better. He can eke over 5/10 of what Lance Stroll can do easily, man. So he could be in the mix as well.
But do you remember when Lando Norris was coming out of the pits after the McLaren double stack, and he was neck and neck with Fernando Alonso? Fernando Alonso was in DRS range, could conceivably overtake him, but Fernando Alonso backed off. Yeah, some of it's for his own race, but the overarching point is I don't think he would fight Lando. I don't think he would fight Max. And for the principal reason, I don't think he'd fight Oscar either. So that's why I don't put Fernando in the mix. But you never know. Maybe it's a statement race, right? We do know that whoever wins Abu Dhabi in the 2020s, whoever has won Abu Dhabi wins the championship the following year, right? This is the theme. So who knows? Adrian Newey, Fernando Alonso, but I doubt it. This is just fairy tale talk.
No, I doubt it. But anyways, guys, unless you have I'm sure you have a lot more to say. Still.
Yeah, Alonso, he rates Verstappen more than anyone in the grid. After his pole in Suzuki, he said only he can put the car so high or higher than it deserves. And that's praise coming from what people believe is one of the greatest drivers of all time. Also, when Lando Norris was the McLaren Academy driver, the pairing was Fernando Alonso and Stoffel Van Dorn. They were the two main drivers at McLaren, so obviously they know each other very well. They have a liking for each other, but I think it's game eats game. Racer respects racer, and a racer's racer is Max Verstappen. Fernando Alonso was praising Max Verstappen. That's, I think, what he did in Interlagos in the sprint race. He said, I knew Max Verstappen was in the title race, so I didn't try to fight him. He just let him through. So, and that's what he did in the sprint race in Qatar as well last week.
Yeah, I don't want to cut you, Renvir. Sorry, Eke, but I don't want to say it. You know what I thought of when Renvir said racer versus racer?
Oh.
Big up the races. That's exactly.
No, I said racer respects racer.
No. I know, but that's what I thought about.
Yeah.
Big up the races.
So basically, Renvir said big up, and I was talking about the rest of the racers, and then it kind of collided, and then it sounded really wrong, which obviously I did not, which none of us implied.
Yeah, AN Sports does not condone racism at all.
Yeah, of course, 100%. If there's one racist word in the comments, you're getting blocked. I don't care how long you've been on my channel for. I don't care how long you've been.
The word racist or just racism?
I think it's more an act of racist, right? Rather than saying the word.
I don't think so.
No. But yeah, no. I agree with you, Renvir. I do think racer respects racer, and it's not just any racer. It's in terms of pure talent, you can make the case among the best of the best.
Yeah.
And also, sorry, Renvir, let me just say this real quick. Also, I
No
was
problem.
that Oscar Piastri was told that he's gonna have to give up one of his free practices to McLaren's reserve driver.
Yes.
Yeah, so 3 races this season. Basically, every senior driver has a mandatory. You have to give up 3 sessions of FP1 across 3 different. So you have to give up 1 free practice session over 3 tracks. So you can pick up any 3 tracks of the 24. So in this case, it falls on the last race for Oscar Piastri. So he has to give up his car to Pato O'Ward, who's in the McLaren development program.
Yeah. And also, just want to quickly add, real quick, before I think we close out, or anything more you guys want to add before that. I think you mentioned about the, what was it just now? You mentioned like the free practice. Yeah, I also mentioned that free practice. It also. What was I gonna say again? I completely forgot. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't remember what I was gonna say. There was something I was gonna say real quick before I gotta say, I'm sure the readers will remind me. I can't remember what I was gonna say.
I pick up my boss. What about?
Yeah, what is it about? Free practice, championship, safety car, back markers.
Oh, and Isaac Hydros confirmed Red Bull #1 driver.
And Lindblad's in the racing pools.
Big up, Blood.
Big up.
So next year, so Abu Dhabi.
Isn't he half Indian, by the way?
Yep.
Lindblad. He's half Indian.
Yep. Half Indian, half Swedish.
Fair.
A very fascinating mix.
Arvid Oland, Olof Lindblad.
I just hear you saying blood, Swiss chocolate, Lind. That's what I keep hearing when you pronounce it.
Lindblad.
Yeah, Lindblad.
I love Lind.
Yeah, best chocolate ever, as we talked about.
100%. No, as I was saying, they had to give up one of their free practices to one of their reserve drivers, and yeah, that's all I can really say. I guess
only Piastri has to.
Only Piastri has to, and Verstappen and Norris don't have to. So could that play into Oscar's hands? I don't know.
No, because he's getting 1 hour less of practice.
Okay. But anyways, everyone added everything before we go.
So this is the last show before the qualifying review and the race preview.
Qualifying review, race preview, yes, is on Saturday night, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, Saturday night. Yeah.
Oh, I just say wow because we're there. We're basically there. It's the final countdown. If you've been seeing those edits all over social media, it's the final countdown.
I just want to say thank you guys so much for your love and support over this past year, because we've covered every single race. Like, big up, man. Big up everyone who's hit the like button, subscribed, supported the channel from day dot. The moment you hit subscribe, from that very first day. Thank you guys so much. But listen, we're not going to stop here. There's going to be news during the off season, so we'll be back talking about that. Also, yeah, that's all I can really say, I guess. Don't really have much to say anymore, unless you guys want to add anything before we go.
Yeah. Did you give a prediction?
Early prediction. I'm going to go Verstappen to win the championship. Just bold.
Wow, and where does Lando Norris finish?
4th.
How about Piastri?
3rd.
And Russell second, I'm assuming, or Leclerc.
No.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Wait, so
No.
if Ekevin,
Yeah.
if Piastri finishes 3rd and Lando finishes 4th, wouldn't McLaren just swap them?
No idea. I think so.
What if a race ends on the safety car? You can't swap on the safety car.
That's gonna be the biggest. That's gonna be the biggest pain in the bum tomorrow. If, you have to enter the race in the safety car. What if you're near each other and you're racing to the final lap? But anyway, say your last points, guys. All of your points, please.
Yeah, Revere, the floor is yours here.
Hang on, I had a lot of say here. Basically, Lando Norris, he's never been closer to the Formula 1 World Championship. He's never been closer. He's 408 points in the lead. He's got 408 points. He won the first race in Australia. Finished ahead of Max Verstappen. And he always said it's his dream. Remember, Augusti, I sent you clips of him in the MSA Formula 4 Championship in 2016 or 2015 when he was 15 years old. He said the goal is eventually to get to Formula 1 and to become the Formula 1 World Champion. He's ever so close. But there is a guy who's won 4 in a row. He's won 70 Grand Prix. His name is Maximilian Verstappen. Basically a lab-created baby born to be a racing driver. His dad was a Formula 1 driver. He got 2 podiums in Formula 1. And his mum was a kart racer. So he's basically a baby bred in a lab in a petri dish to become a Formula 1 driver and a Formula 1 world champion. And
Frankenstein.
this is what you're contending with. I saw a TikTok before. I don't know if I can play it, Akevin, because of copyright. I'll find it for you. But it said, the premise of it was, if you want to be as good as Max Verstappen, you have to be karting from the age of 4 and so on and so forth with a dad who's a Formula 1. Hang on, I'll try to find it because you're not going to get copyrighted for this because this is TikTok. So
Wait, is there any background audio?
Nah.
Just double check if there's
I don't
even
think
the
so.
even the slightest of music can get you copyrighted.
Nah,
Hang on, let me
don't,
check.
don't. I'd rather you don't risk it because I want to get,
Is that why you backed out your screen?
Sorry.
Is that why you had your screen blacked out
When?
just now?
No.
You didn't turn off your camera.
I went to drink water.
Drink water and relax. Okay, so
Hang
hang on.
What just happened? I don't know what just happened.
I've lost my train of thought. So
No, but yeah, you can show, but I would just say not now because we're done with the show and we've gone a whole hour. We don't want it to be copyrighted in the last few minutes.
Minutes to go till Premier League starts. So, guys, we're gonna close out here.
no, I need to say some things, man.
Please do.
So this is the biggest race of Lando Norris' career, even in the CIKFI Karting World Championship. It's not as close as this, man. Formula 2, it's not as close as this. And the investment his dad's put in, Adam Norris, $44 million US for this Formula 1 seat. $44 million, $44 US dollars he spent on a Formula 1 seat from 2019 to 2022. That was a period it paid over. So he financed his Formula 1 seat for his son. And I saw a picture of Norris's dad and his mom walking down the stairs to the track. And Norris's dad looked so stressed. His eyes were all red. His hair was all funky. And that sort of energy, those emotions can transverse into your son. He's seeing his dad like that. He's the driver piloting the car itself. He's a guy at the control of the wheel. And he's seen his dad with red eyes, funky hair. He's stressed. Imagine how he's feeling. And the interview the other day, he wanted it to end. Norris, he said Oscar should have got P1, I should have got P2. But in the end, it was a strategy error. And he wanted the interview to end so quickly because he did not feel comfortable with the McLaren strategy error, first of all, and having to talk about it, second of all, and give his thoughts on it. And he knows it was wrong. The whole panel knows it was wrong. Everyone knows it was wrong. And It was what Fernando Alonso said after 2020 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix after he lost the World Championship. So he did a pit stop to cover off Mark Webber, but he didn't cover off Vitaly Petrov and Nico Rosberg, who were in front of him. So he finished 7th in that race, and he had to finish 5th when, assuming that Sebastian Vettel won the race. So he did that pit stop, and after the race, he was insanely calm. He said, "We just look ahead to next year. Congratulations to Sebastian and Red Bull, but we look ahead to next year." And from the outside view, it's easy to see what the correct strategy was. But when you're inside the car, you have to cover off these drivers, and then 2 other drivers get in your way. And also, the grid now is so soft. You got people like Bortoletto, Hadjar, Lawson. Okay, they're going to be in. They're going to be racing into Verstappen's favour, but you got people like Antonelli. I don't know about him really. And who else is a rookie? Is that it? Oh, Behrman. Behrman said that Verstappen's the greatest driver of all time. So who knows? He might come to rescue. He obviously held off Piastri in Mexico, so who knows? He might do another carry job in that Haas VF25. But all I want to say, one of the things I want to say, is those people in front of him, Nico Rosberg and Vitaly Petrov. Vitaly Petrov was in the Renault, and Nico Rosberg was in the Williams, if I recall correctly. And they had nothing to play for, really. They had absolutely nothing to play for. And Vitaly Petrov, when he came out the car, in the interview, he said, "I just wanted to show the whole world I'm Russian, I'm not going to budge." That's sort of hard-headed mentality we had in Formula One, where you disrupt the world champion. You disrupt someone becoming a 3-time world champion because you want to show the world how good you are, how talented you are. And
Big ups to you,
these
bro.
big up Steve, man.
Yeah. Big ups to you, bro. Thank you for
And
supporting
you got guys now that will just part the waters. Yes, you can go through, Norris. I know you're in the world championship, but yes, you can go through. Please go through, please. That's not the sort of world championship I want to see. I want to see people disrupt. I want to see Carlos Sainz. I want to see him disrupt the world championship. Oliver Behrman. I want to see him disrupt the world championship. Gabriel Bortoletto. I want to see him disrupt the world championship. Nico Hulkenberg, good friend of Max Verstappen. I want to see him disrupt the world championship. Charles Leclerc, been nowhere all season. Got the pole position in Hungary. Didn't show up ever since. So I don't want to hear about podiums. I want to see race victories from him. So he hasn't showed up. Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton. Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton.
Hey, bro, if he's the one that stops the McLarens from winning, I'll hail him.
If you want to turn up for one race, 2025 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, I know Verstappen, look, when you're presented with a Formula 1 World Championship like that, one lap so easily, 1 lap to race, you're not going to give it up. So you shouldn't blame Maximilian Verstappen for that. Blame Michael Massey. And for that, if you're going to turn up for one race, if you're going to make that SF25 Ferrari look competitive for one race, 2025 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix is where you want to be. Disrupt Lando Norris, disrupt Oscar Piastri. You know these guys aren't as tough as Maximilian Verstappen. You know these guys aren't as hard-headed as they haven't got the mentality. They couldn't step into a Formula 1 seat at 17 years old. If you got disrupted for the greater good of Formula 1, all these drivers that we expect to be at the forefront, like the Ferraris, the Mercedes, and the Williams. Alexander Albon and Carlos Sainz. You unlock that top speed at Williams, unlock it because you have the chance. Alex Albon used to be his teammate at Red Bull. So really, he should help Verstappen, really. And Carlos Sainz was a teammate at Toro Rosso, yeah. So you got to draw a Venn diagram, So who supports Maximilian Verstappen, who supports Leyland Norris, who supports Oscar Piastri, and you got to make up your mind. And as Augustus said, when it comes to qualifying, this is the biggest qualifying session of his whole life because because he's never going to have a chance like this again, where the car is like 8/10 quicker in some tracks, 8/10 quicker in qualifying guys compared to the rest of the competition. You're never going to have this chance again where your car is so above. You're on 800 points exactly in the Constructors' Championship. 800 points. Nah, mate, it's a preview, bro. Come on, it's a preview of the last race of the season. We've got a 3-way title fight. I need to give my thoughts in it. So I was
Everyone-
saying 800 points.
Racing, he's got some videos coming his way.
Yeah, I made a video yesterday about Oscar Piastri. He shouldn't listen to McLaren's team orders if he has any respect for himself and Mark Webber. So I was just saying 800 points in the constructors. That's the second most constructors points of all time of any team. It was a Red Bull that got in 2023. That is, I've got the record, but second most constructors points of all time. You've had the dominant car for the whole season, man, and you're giving the Formula One championship away on the final race. When Augustia said Lando Norris won when he closed out the stream in before the Qatar race. I've been leading the hype train. I've been leading Maximilian Verstappen hype train. Yes, I said on Reddit that after Silverstone, the championship was gone, done and dusted. But he has clawed his way back. 104 points. He's gained 108 points on Oscar Piastri since Zandvoort. 108 points. You're never going to see this again. I don't think so. 108 points. And Oscar Piastri, he won the first race after the summer break. So in the second half of the season, he wins the first race back. But the downfall ever since then has been one for the ages. The downfall, the pressure, Iceman, new Iceman, never cracks, never melts. I knew he had this side to him where he's just going to fold under pressure because the Formula World Championship is bigger than any junior Formula could ever be. Macau Grand Prix. Who cares about the Macau Grand Prix? That's not a prestigious race. You just made it prestigious for no reason.
Who
cares, fam? Who cares?
This is prestigious right here.
Exactly. This is what they've been fighting for their whole life.
The show is prestigious right here.
But anyways, guys, everyone made the
When
last one.
When they've been singing school in lessons, bored out their minds, they've been thinking about being on the racetrack in Formula One.
Bored at work.
And then buying their rulers, buying their nails in lesson, watching a teacher write on a chalkboard the Pythagoras theorem. They've been thinking, I want to be in a Formula One car.
Yes.
I want to be.
Chalkboards still exist?
No, I'm back in the day.
Right. Okay. I was a bit surprised. I was concerned.
Cool.
Yeah. So when they're in class, no worries, mate. No worries. I'm gonna go on a bit of tangent. Mate, this is the last race of the season. I'm hyped, man. So, when they've been in class,
we'll preview again on Saturday.
Another preview on Saturday.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
No, he means the usual preview after qualifying.
Race preview on Saturday.
No, I'm talking about this. So, when they've been in class, they've been bored out of their minds. They've been thinking about being on the Formula One track. That's been their dream. That's been their ultimate goal.
Yeah.
That's been their holy grail. And now they're here, ever so close, racing with McLaren, one of the most prestigious teams ever. And ultimately, here's my prediction: Maximilian Verstappen wins the race.
Okay.
Second place. Second. I don't know who's going to finish in second place, but I know that the person who finishes second place is not going to come to Lando Norris's aid. So I'm going to throw one out there. Charles Mark Herve Percival Leclerc finishes in second place. And then
sorry, just watching the background. Why?
And in third place, George William Russell. Fourth place, Andrea Kimi Antonelli.
Renvia loves government names, isn't he?
Fifth place, Oscar Jack Piastri. Sixth place, Leyland Norris.
Okay.
Yeah. So they got nothing to fight for. So they're going to make another strategy blunder because McLaren's own enemy hasn't been Maximilian Verstappen or Red Bull Racing or Hannes Schmitz this season. It's been McLaren Formula One team themselves. It's literally been them leading the race. They said that Hannes Schmitz said they ran simulations for the Qatar Grand Prix, and they said that lap 7 is the ideal lap for a safety car to come out for them to pit because they can get 25 laps and 25 laps on a tire on 2 sets of tires. So that's made up the allocation, the mandatory allocation, and they just failed to do so. Oscar Piastri, he should be the call should be made, coming to the pits for double stacking, but instead Max Verstappen's the furthest car up the field that goes into the pits, and he gets a free pit stop, and then he's able to pit again for the hard tires. And Hannes Schmitz, fantastic strategy there. Made McLaren look like amateurs. Made McLaren look like university students on who slept at 3 a.m. in the morning and have a lecture at 7 a.m.
No. I don't tolerate the slander. University students would not have made that mistake. That's a preschool mistake right there, man.
That's junior.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway,
No, I'm saying McLaren guys need to go back to university. They need to do their degree again. How to strategize a Formula One race.
Oscar Piastri.
So Cameron Ceesay, he's been leading the Maximilian Verstappen hype train all season. 4 soon to be 5-time champion every race since Texas.
Well, he's 19, isn't he? He just finished school, isn't it?
Cameron Ceesay.
No, Kimi. Yes. Kimi just did.
Yeah, no, Piastri.
Piastri's 24.
Is he?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it does rap. It is quite crazy, yes.
And Lando Norris is 26. So the prime age for a Formula One driver, they say, is 28 years old. Lando Norris is 26. He's reached a peak if he gets there. Oh, he won't. Of the Formula One driver to win the World Championship, because there's some of the greatest drivers of all time never won it. Gilles Villeneuve, Stirling Moss.
Charles Leclerc hasn't won it yet. He's one of the greatest drivers of all time.
I lost my train of thought. Any seasoned Formula One veterans slander me.
We don't need to go on a train. We'll just go watch these cars drive, and Sunday will be historic, right, Akavin?
Yeah, it will be historic for sure. Everyone else said points. Everyone said everything.
I'm good.
So for Oscar Piastri, his manager never won the Formula One World Championship. He has a lot to prove because his Formula One, his manager was shafted by team orders, multi 21, move aside for Vettel, and he's seen that, witnessed it, and he must be telling them stories behind the scenes of, look, this is what happened. I'm not going to do Australian accent. This is what happened. This is how I felt. This is how it affected my championship. This is how it affected my life. And I made a video yesterday. Subscribe youtube.com/RMVTalksRacing. So I made a video saying that if Oscar Piastri has any respect for himself or Mark Webber, he won't listen to team orders because he has been screwed over by team orders. It's clear they want the British driver to win. Lando. Who else has the name Lando at any sport? If you ask someone on the street, who's the first person that comes to mind when you think of Lando? Lando Norris. Who's the first person that comes to mind?
Actually, no, I don't want to say something. I know you want to wrap up. There were only 2 kids in the year of 1998, I think, when Lando Norris was born, that were called
1999.
Yeah, 1999. There were only 2 kids in the whole of the U. Yeah, so he's 1999. There were only 2 kids in that year in the
November
UK.
13th.
Yeah.
I know. Isn't it?
So if you ask someone who name some of Oscar's first name, the one who used to play for Chelsea, name
Oscar
someone
Isaac.
who Max.
Oscar Isaac. Man plays Moon Knight in the MCU. Frankenstein as recently. So there you
Max. I can't name another Max off the top of my head.
Max, I can name a ton of Maxes off the top of my head. Ekavin, Max Davies is one.
Max.
Max, I can name 1,000. Max Myers. I don't know if that's a person.
Currently watching
Actually, you're right. Actually, Rivera, Max seems like a common name, but I kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta say, I'm currently watching football. Won't know Max.
Yeah, but if you ask someone's name, Lando, they
Max
know who Lando is.
Goldberg.
They know he's got the saying. He's got the Instagram username Lando @Lando, just 5 letters, just his first name. Of course, the name's Leyland Kinder Norris. We know that. Seasoned Formula One veterans. We know that. Maximilian Verstappen, that's his full name. Oscar Piastri, that's his full name. So I think the pressure will get to Leyland Kinder Norris because this is bigger than anything he's ever faced. In Interlagos, gets pole position in 2024, bottles a race start. And then upon the restart, after the red flag, when they go out, Max Verstappen overtakes Esteban Ocon, and you just see pure cinema. Camera pans out, zooms out, and you see Lando Norris going off the road. pure absolute cinema. He finished that race in 6th, and he finished that race in 6th. Max Verstappen was running in first for the remainder of the race, and all he could ask was, "Where's Max? Where's Max? Gap to Max, 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 gap to Max." And his engineer Will Joseph came on the team radio and said, "Stop thinking about Max Verstappen," because that's what he does. He gets into his head. Of course, they've been courting since they were young, but there's a difference in mentality. Maximilian Verstappen, he always thought he was the best. 17 years old, he thought he was the best driver on the grid. He was at Spa as a 17, 18-year-old, pushing world champions off the track like Kimi Raikkonen. That's the difference in mentality. Lando Norris is too timid. Oscar Jack Piastri, I thought he had it in him. I thought he had it in him to go toe-to-toe with the champions. Toe-to-toe, okay. Nowadays, Lewis Hamilton, they don't think of him as the guy. They just think of him as an ordinary racer in terms of the image they see through their visor of his car. And Oscar Piastri, the way he overtook Maximilian Verstappen in Jeddah and in Miami. That's all I've got to say. Wheel to wheel. Oliver Behrman, wheel to wheel. But Leyland and Norris, I've never seen Leyland and Norris go wheel to wheel with Maximilian Verstappen ever. Literally, when there's millimeters between the wheels, I've never seen it happen. And
Oscar Jack Piastri.
What about Miami? But what can't even talk. What about Miami, by the way?
The way Oscar Piastri overtook Max Verstappen, who was on pole position. That's what I'm saying.
That was when Oscar Piastri was still in the form. Now he's dipped.
Exactly. I'm saying I thought he had it in him, the ability to go toe-to-toe with world champions like that. But clearly he doesn't, and the pressure's got to him. This ain't a video game anymore. This is real life. This is the real thing, the real deal. He's one of the 20 drivers in the world, and he's 16 points behind the leader. Of course, it is technically feasible to think of him as being able to win the world championship, but for me, there's only one guy. He's won the 5 before.
4. This will be his 5th.
Won the 5 before? What? Someone speak to me in my earpiece. Apologies. So he's won 4 world championships before, 4 world championships on the bounce. He knows about this. He knows how to contend with the pressure. He knows how to deal with the pressure. He knows. He's calm, relaxed. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And at Abu Dhabi, he's won the Grand Prix there 4 times, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. And last year, he obviously hit Oscar Piastri, and they spun around together. But the thing is, Max Verstappen came back to recover to finish in 6th place, and Oscar Piastri finishes 10th place, if I recall correctly, and that was in the Constructors' battle. So who knows? Who knows what Max Verstappen could do to Oscar Piastri or Lando Norris in the race? Lando Norris more because he's his main rival in this championship fight. Good friends off track. You be champion one day. Not today, buddy. Remember what he said after the journalist said to him, Zach Brown says you keep creeping closer. Well, he can call me Chucky. He is inside the heads of those McLaren. Everyone, the pit crew.
He's the daddy of the grid.
He's in their heads. And McLaren pays so much attention to optimizing human performance, like giving them protein shakes, I saw a video of Andrea Stella analyzing on the graph.
Yeah, man.
He's analyzing on the graph when the person pick.
Man's at protein shakes and that, you know.
So basically, when the guy picks up the drill and presses the button on the drill, then puts it down, then puts the wheel on, the car goes. There's literally a graph on the TV screen. I'll send a video if you want to see it. There's literally a graph on the TV screen. Andrea Stella is analysing every single point on it. Literally, I've never seen anything like it, where Red Bull is like, car comes in, stop it, wheel gun on, bang, 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 bang. Make sure the wheel nut's tight, off you go. They're not like this. They're not looking at the intricacies. And people say that when they have an Ura ring.
They don't Pep Guardiola things. They don't overcomplicate.
passing, passing, passing. So
Exactly.
when people have an aura ring or a whoop, they find that they have worse sleep because
Oh,
they're
what?
the
What
whoop,
was
the band.
Oh, a loop. Okay.
Whoop, whoop.
Okay. So I heard something else.
So when they have one of those, they find out that their sleep and biomarkers are actually worse because they're analysing every little point and they're stressed about it. Well, Red Bull, they've got the best strategist on the grid, Hannah Schmitz. They've got an engineer of a team principal, Laurent Mekies, and I just think that is going to be a killer combination. And they've got the best driver of all time, in my opinion. They've got the best, fastest driver. Franz Tost, the old principal of Scuderia AlphaTauri, he said Max Verstappen is worth 2 or 3 tenths of speed on its own. I've never heard that about any other driver. So I just think that Red Bull is going to be a killer combination this week. The RB21 is going to be so potent. Max Verstappen is going to make 0 mistakes on his qualifying lap. And Leyland and Norris, I don't think he's going to make out of Q2 actually because she's left carrying the stream. So I think that Max Verstappen secures pole position. Charles Leclerc finishes second in qualifying. George Russell gets third in qualifying. Andrea Camiantelli fourth in qualifying. Oscar Piastri in fifth in qualifying. Sixth in qualifying is Carlos Sainz. Seventh is qualifying is Fernando Alonso. Eighth in qualifying is Gabriel Bortoleto. Ninth in qualifying Nico Hulkenberg, and 10th qualifying Oliver Bowman. That's just a rough idea of what I'm going to say, of what I think. But I think Lando Norris is not going to make out Q2, and it's going to make it so much more difficult for him to try and make a position in race because of the dirty air and ground effect era. And I just think that this title is won and lost in Leyland and Norris's mind, and I don't think his mind is going to be up to scratch. This is vintage Lando Norris. This is Lando Norris of old that we know, we always know, and we always criticise Lando because his race starts are awful. And he even said when he first made Formula 1 in 2019 that he has imposter syndrome, that he feels like on some days he's not good enough, and there's a mental battle, and that's why he started playing golf. And I just think that he's got past trauma from people like Max Verstappen going wheel to wheel with him, and I just think it's going to be too much to contend with for his brain. And thus, I think that the race will be won by Maximilian Verstappen, and the 5-time world champion Formula 1 FIA Formula 1 World Driver Champion will be Maximilian Verstappen, and he will equal Juan Manuel Fangio as a 5-time FIA Formula 1 World Driver Champion.
Touche.
So after what race was it? Texas? Or was it Monza? After we all said that Maximilian Verstappen will be the world champion when he was still 40 points behind.
Oh,
It was on the
it
same
was
day as the Ballon d'Or.
no, it was not Monza. It must have been Texas. Could not have been Monza. We would not have said something that prematurely. Because Monza was his first win, right? After the summer break.
Oh, it was Baku. It was Baku, wasn't it? Baku.
Yeah. One of them.
Would that be that's not premature.
No, premature was Monza. 100% that was like, that'd be loony to still say it. But Baku's no. After Oscar Piastri's DNF and the way Max was cutting into the deficit, then obviously it was probably to be expected, if anything.
And Leyland and Norris finished 6th in that race.
I think what was more surprising is his ascendancy. His Brazil-Mexico, Lando Norris was just stunning. And the way both of us were overly complimentary, and rightfully so, that was far more stunning here.
But you don't win the Formula 1 World Championship based on 2 races. Not even 13 or 14 odd races. If you
don't. But again, with the time, with the place, with the spaces and the pressure the races took place in, he stepped up. No one in his generation, except if you count Max Verstappen, has. He did something that even Leclerc and Russell would fail to do. So, but we will see all roads head to Abu Dhabi. It is the final countdown. Okay, I was off.
Remember, Zach Brown said, "We've had the Senna era, we've had the Hamilton era, we've had the Schumacher era. We're now entering the Lando Norris era."
Yep, and the Lando Norris era so far.
Look yourself in the mirror. Look at the Richard Moore on your wrist and tell me you're not telling a lie, huh? Lando Norris era. Lando Norris era. Lando Norris era.
No. He Vinvier, you misinterpreted. He didn't say era. He said error.
Error. He makes an error.
That's
on
why
the racetrack.
Yeah, that's why he's not lying. He's spitting facts. It's all about perspective in life, right? And that's the perspective that Zach Brown needs to embody when the Lando Norris, if he doesn't win the championship. I'm just
So there's
saying.
two storylines I see in my head, envisioning. Turn one. So I either see Oscar Piastri taking Lando Norris out of the race, so they don't both go off the road. Oscar Piastri nudges Lando Norris and he goes flying into the barrier. His race is over, DNF. Or Maximilian Verstappen does a perfect getaway. Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris are fighting, but they're in 10th, 11th place in qualifying. And
Yeah.
and they've got so much traffic and so many cars ahead. Zach Brown is on the radio saying, "Let these mate move these cars out of the way. We've got a world championship to win here." He's gonna be so annoying when he's trying to tell people to move out of the way. Him and Andrea Stella are literally going to be begging on the radio saying, "Let these cars through. Let Lando Norris through because he's got a world championship to win." Literally, I'm not making it up.
Yeah,
He's
no.
gonna beg.
It is believable because, as we said, Red Bull's mentality is focus on what we can control, ignore everything else. McLaren's mentality is focus on what we can't control and just ignore how we can dominate. So that's the telltale, right? And that's why Red Bull have been by far the better team this season, even though McLaren have built the better car. Red Bull have just been the far more cohesive,
Well-oiled machine.
competent side. Yeah.
Used to winning. Expecting
What?
wins.
Not used to winning, they are winners. Red Bull is a team of winners. Mercedes is a team of winners. McLaren, yes, they are winning, but they still don't have that greatness factor when winning.
Yeah, and they're not good winners because they win once and then they next race they throw it away because of the disqualification, and then over the race after that they throw it away because of a strategy blunder.
Yeah.
Because the last race win was in Interlagos 2 weeks before the Las Vegas race. And listen here, Mercedes, you need to create a car where it's not underweight. Don't do that a problem again. Don't do
Oh,
Spa
yeah,
2024 again.
that if the championship is decided based off underweight or some breach in the
Plank wear.
technicality. Yeah, exactly. Plank wear, that would be wank wear. That's what it would be.
That would be so annoying. Honestly, fabricate your car properly. Make it properly.
I like
measurements. Yeah, I was watching 2010 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and after the race is finished, Alonso goes to the side of Vitaly Petrov, and they're driving together, and he just like this to the mirror. You lost me the world championship. So,
Touche. Si. I don't know Italian, but
Indiamo, I don't know what it means. Si, fratello.
We're gonna close out, people. Hit the like button.
I've got one more thing to say, bro.
Oh, all right, good.
Red Bull have been in this position before. They got people like world coordinator Hannah Schmidt, Maximilian Verstappen himself. They know that in Abu Dhabi the race can go to the wire. The last lap, the last DRS zone. And they know about this. And they know the strategy. Hannah Schmidt literally orchestrated it. Told Maximilian Verstappen to come in for fresh soft tires, so that if there was another lap of racing, he would have the best possible outcome. And that's what happened. He won the race because of the fresh soft tires. So Red Bull are a seasoned team of winners. They have a lot of the staff behind the scenes who have won the World Championship in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2022 and 2023, also being Constructors' Championships. So Maximilian Verstappen always came into this race saying that if I don't win number 5, it won't affect me, it won't change my life. I see where he's coming from now. The other day I was saying, it's going to change your life because you're going to equal one manufacturer.
Compared to the rest of them. It's Max Verstappen. He's not going to care about a 5th championship compared to Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Well, they care about their first championship. Max Verstappen's got 4 other championships to celebrate.
Yeah, but while he won't care, he's going to still be gunning for that victory.
No, he'll still care, but if he loses, he won't be bummed about it.
He's still going to be fully focused on the victory. So I see where he's coming from now. Because
he won't be bummed about it. He won't be bummed about losing it.
Because this wasn't his championship to win.
Exactly.
He was 104 points. He was on 205 points, if I recall correctly. Well, after Zandvoort, and then Oscar Piastri was on 309. He was 104 points behind. He always said that I'm only in this title fight because of other people's failures. Other people being McLaren, they're failures. They're failures. They've given 108 points to Max Verstappen since the summer break. That's why he's usurped Oscar Piastri. He's made up 100 points, 108 points. He was 104 behind. Now he's on 108 positive. He's gained 108 points. And I want to see McLaren crash. I want to see McLaren crash. I want to see McLaren crash. McLaren crash. McLaren crash. Abu Dhabi turn 1. Oscar Jack Piastri hits Lando, Leyland and Norris because he has screwed up his Formula 1 career, his Formula 1 reputation. Literally. In his third season, 104 points ahead in the Formula 1 World Championship in third place, and now he's been overtaken. We said it was blasphemy for us to say that Maximilian Verstappen will overtake Oscar Jack Piastri before he overtakes Leyland and Norris, who's in first place. It's happened now, and now he's chasing. It's easier to be the hunted than the hunted in Formula 1, and Leyland and Norris will not be a good person to be hunted because he is vulnerable. His brain will tell him things like he's not good enough. His brain will deceive him, derealization, and I think that he's going to cock up qualifying.
His
And
what will deceive him?
brain.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yes, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. And the mind will play tricks because, again, that is what happens, right? The currency of the sport is mentality. Max has the mentality. Leyland Kinder Norris is a Kinder Egg, and Oscar Jack Piastri is unfortunately Oscar.
Yeah. So after qualifying, make sure to tune into the race preview show and the review show of the qualifying. It's all in one. So I know I mentioned two different things all in one show. Make sure to be there. So when we do that show, we'll have a clearer picture of who's where and where the ebbs and flows are, and who is going to be in prime position to help the other drivers, because then we'll have a better idea. We look at dynamics off the racetrack, and we look at past friendships and past grievances, and we'll see who's going to help who. But yeah, that's all I want to say, really, Kevin.
Anyway, I was just watching football in the background while I was waiting.
Boba.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, also on Sky Sports F1, yeah. Wolves won't be the only orange team losing this week on Sky Sports F1 channel.
All right. Anyway, people,
because their match is being played on Sky Sports F1.
hit the like button. Go subscribe to NBA Talks Racing for more in-depth analysis on the race this weekend. Subscribe to King's channels. The link will be in the description of the video and I'll try to put it in the title if I can, but if not, in the description of the video. Big up to Augustia as
Was
always.
a camera.
I'm not turning it on. Sorry. Anyways, guys.
Big up Underwrite Steve, big up Mob Bolts, and big up Daniel CFC 95.
Augustia, appreciate you being here as always, man. And we'll definitely do all out sports talk sometime very soon, bro. Anyways, guys. Peace, love, and guidance. Have a great night.
See you around.
MV5.